I was driving to work this morning, I was listening to another radio station, as we broadcasters sometimes do. What I heard shocked and saddened me.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They're here, nerds.
Wait, is this the group that goes around mutilating squirrels?
You just mind your P's and Q's, Buster, and remember who you're dealing with.
Well, at least we found them.
Fortuitous, Captain. And now that we have them all together,
you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They make one person go, blah, 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 and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, welcome into it as we kick off the weekend here. Superstation 101 WIDE, all kinds of things that we got to get to today, and kind of the skeleton crew as opposed to what we usually have. Ryan is on his way back from vacation. David is on a family emergency, but Josh, you made it back.
Yeah, in the absence of the team, I was there. I just
stepping up, brought a friend.
Brought a friend. It's bring a friend to work day.
I'm the friend to work day.
Hello, friend.
Indeed. Welcome back in. Everything good?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Chris Copeland here, logging in another roundtable excursion.
You were not here last week. You saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you had the chance to see anything in the past couple weeks?
I don't think you're allowed
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy
on this show if you've not seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no
I would
kidding.
agree. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed into buildings. If you
but because of the fact that you guys were not here last week to give your review, we'll get to that here in a little bit. Jacob sitting over here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Welcome into the studio.
Yeah.
You got a couple of reviews here.
I have two.
Yeah. I've actually got two as well because you and I had the chance as we record on a Friday. Last night we checked out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I wanted to. Sorry.
And I've also gone and I've seen the movie Persecuted, which is limited release film. So we'll talk about that coming up a little bit. Then there's Jeff over there who decided he didn't want to go see the Turtles.
I did not.
What? It's just because he didn't want to support my... it's not mine. Who has turtles? Do I have turtles?
Yeah, you do.
I do. It's because you didn't want to support my earnings.
I wouldn't have been supporting it anyway.
That's true.
That's true.
We have that little deal going.
Never mind.
I don't know what just happened.
Nah.
So I
inside
picked
thing.
Ninja Turtles as my
I understand.
roundtable.
Was that your final pick? No, that was like a third round pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Michael Bay.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that was one
It's
of
going to
those.
make
That's going to
stupid
make
money.
Trust me.
Ninja Turtles.
Michael Bay will be a part
Megan Fox.
of the review, so stick around for that. I'll go ahead and start off with the fact that you can check us all out because we are available. We all post at various times, if given the opportunity, to the Entertainment Roundtable Facebook show page, facebook.com/The Entertainment Roundtable. Feel free to check it out because we post a lot of stuff on there, and then we kind of talk about it long form when we get to the show. Then we get into the top 10 here. Before we get to the top 10, very limited release film, but several stars that are in it, including Fred Thompson and many others. It's a film called Persecuted. And it is a faith film, but it's not the faith film that we are familiar with from what we've seen earlier this year. Your God's Not Dead, Your Heaven is for Real, even Your Mom's Night Out. It's got a faith undertone to it, but it's played along more of kind of a suspense thriller line, part of a preacher who is being kind of urged to support a bill going through Congress, and when he says that he's not going to, all of a sudden, well, let's just say that bad things really start to happen. Pretty well acted. James Remar, who I remember, the first time I ever remember seeing him was in the movie The Warriors, way back, long time ago when he was playing a young kid. It's actually quite well done. The plot's well done. The acting is good up until the point where you get to the end where it leaves you, and this is not a bad thing either, it leaves you wanting more. You're like, wait a minute, wasn't there supposed to be something more after that? So I don't think that they're making a sequel. So let me state that first, but I did walk out of it saying I was expecting more out of the film, or at least on the end part of it. I enjoyed the film, not one of the greatest films I've seen this year, but 7 and worth a shot, especially if you're into the kind of the political thriller with a faith undertone to it. So I really enjoyed it. Then we get into the top 10. A Most Wanted Man. Tell us a little bit about it, and then give your review real quick because we've got a lot to get to, Jacob.
All right. Well, basically, it's set in Germany. It's got Philip Seymour Hoffman, Rachel McAdams, Willem Dafoe, to name a few.
So it's got stars of its own.
Yeah, Robin Wright. So big actors. It's about a counterterrorism group in Germany that kind of works with several different countries, the United States, Russia, etc. Germany, obviously, since they're based out of there. It is very... it's a spy film that is more on the espionage side than the action chasing running sequences.
Is this from the creator of Tinker Tailor Spy?
I don't know.
I thought I saw that. The
Yeah,
book.
that
at
sounds
least.
right,
I think
yeah.
it's from the author.
John Le Carre, or
Yeah.
Is it the author or the filmmaker?
The author.
Author, yeah.
So that's the basic thing. A guy comes in from another country. They're investigating him, and that's kind of how the plot goes. As they investigate him, things happen.
Okay, and ultimately,
movie was well acted. A lot of great acting in the movie, but the writing of the movie was just terrible. It's very slow, incredibly slow pace, and you think, oh well, this is going to lead me somewhere. We're going to get somewhere, and it just ends abruptly. It's just like, well, that's the end of the movie. Okay, and it's like almost like the writers got to the end and were like, oh crap, we forgot where to go with this. There you go. There's the ending, and that's it. So not great. It was a unfortunate choice for a date night movie. So
I could have told you that.
I'm giving it a 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Just
not
not
good.
very good. I mean, great acting, but plot.
So she's not going to go back out with you.
No, she's going back out with me, but she also
she's
agreed.
expecting much more when it
She
comes to the next
agreed
movie
that
they
it
go
was
to.
it was not good.
Gotcha. All right.
She's choosing.
So the $3.2 million it made last weekend and $7 million you're saying is a little far-reaching.
Yeah, I mean, if the fact that it made that much is amazing. I mean, it's a foreign film.
It's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
Right.
and one of his last starring roles.
Yeah, his last starring roles. It's going to
Yeah.
make money. I was surprised it didn't do more.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to be like The Dark Knight was to Heath Ledger, but what's going to be like that is going to be the Hunger Game films.
Oh, yeah,
Probably, yeah.
easily.
They're going to play that up.
No doubt.
Up to number 9, and so it goes. 3.3 million, 10.2 overall. Sex Tape, 3.5 million, 33.9. You and I talked about this movie last night. This thing is pretty much an abject failure.
Yeah, it's tanking.
So, sorry, David. That was one of his. The Purge, Anarchy, 5.9 million, 63.3. I'd like to see it do a little more, simply because, well, it's one of the movies that I drafted, but it looks like it's about to run out of steam. Planes, Fire, and Rescue, another of David's films, 6 million, 47.2. Up to the top 5. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This one's doing quite well. Thank you very much. 8.7, 189.3. Hercules at number 4. That's 11 million, 52.7 there. Get On Up at number 3, 13.6 million, and its opening weekend. I haven't heard anything on this film. Anybody know how this is being
Get
received?
On Up
Seemed very
The
quiet.
biopic of James Brown.
Oh, I think that just got kind of blended
Well, let's
out
face it,
by
it got
Guardians.
Yeah, it got washed
Because
away.
I was
There's
looking
no doubt
away.
about it.
I was looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I haven't heard anything.
forgot about
I haven't
it.
heard anything critically, and I don't know, what
Well-
kind of ratings this is getting from the people.
Well, I'll put it this way about what I saw from the previews. The previews talked about how awesome James Brown was, not how great this movie is going to be.
Well, is this not, and I could be wrong, from the director of The Help?
I think it is.
As I remember, yes.
And so I really like him. I really liked The Help. I like his story. So I was really planning to see this film.
Well, but
Just
the
got-
other thing that they're going to have to do, and they did this well when they did Johnny Cash, they did it well when they did Ray Charles, was they've got to show his warts in addition to showing his success. And if they can do that, then but the problem is you start to get the formula of it. And if it comes across as being too formulaic, then you've got a problem. Lucy, number 2, 18.3, $79.5 million. So far, you're looking pretty good to get all 5 of your films to crack the $100 million mark there, Jeff.
I feel really good about that, Steve. I'll be honest with you.
Too bad we're not getting any of the money they're making.
Yeah, really, no kidding. And then there's number 1. It's just this small little film called Guardians of the Galaxy, which obliterated pretty much every August release record ever.
Yep.
Who had that
wow.
pick?
Debuts at $94.3 million opening weekend in August.
Come on.
And Jacob got it.
Yep.
Wise
I
man.
could have told you that was going to be that. I didn't get to pick it.
All right, so here we go. Pretty much all the way around. I think the lowest rating we had last week for Guardians of the Galaxy was, what, an 8.5?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I mean, he was being hypercritical.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I had the high rating at 9.8. So.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at when we come to you two. Again, got a lot of stuff to get to.
I'm going to go short.
Give me a short review, and ultimately,
I wish
out of
I could
10.
just scream to express how awesome it was. But there really doesn't even... Just watch it. It's awesome. 9. Bam.
9, okay.
9. Okay.
Chris?
I thought it was super cool. I loved the like combination of real sets with CGI. I feel like a lot of times the CGI kind of overwhelms and washes everything out, so it kind of felt grounded to me, and that is what gave it a 9 to me.
See?
Just a fun film.
It was
We're all
great.
in there. I said this last week on the show. Second best film I've seen this year.
It was just, I went in there, I
That's
had
the best for me.
expectations of this, and then I had this little fear right when the movie started. I was like, dang it, what if this is one of those films that was like, it was supposed to be so good, but just kind of turned out they really made a good trailer.
It was beautiful.
Nope. The trailer was right on.
Yeah.
It was exactly like that.
The trailer
Dead on.
downplayed.
It
how
downplayed
good
it. I was
Yeah, in some ways
actually
you're right.
impressed.
That's true. They didn't
Very
give
much
it.
so.
They didn't give everything away in the trailer.
Just Marvel, get out of the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
considering what we got coming out this week, Guardians repeat as number 1.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Yeah?
so.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
even
gonna
though
be
it's doing pretty
close.
good numbers. I mean, I believe I saw something that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did more than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes on its Thursday showing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's
So-
going to be close, but I think Guardians will take it.
Okay,
Guardians
here we
wins.
go. Other than Teenage, because we'll get back to that in a second, you got Into the Storm, Richard Armitage, Sarah Wayne Collins, about storm trackers documenting a severe outbreak of tornadoes. I pretty much unofficially call this Twister 2.
I start to say I saw Twister. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah. You got the movie The 100-Foot Journey that stars Helen Mirren about battling restaurants and their owners that goes until the family member of one crosses the street to join the other restaurant. My wife is interested in this, but then again, she likes pretty much
Sounds like
anything
a
Helen Mirren is
episode
in.
of
Oprah's
Popeye.
involved. I'm out.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Oprah's involved.
And then there was the movie that we had the option of watching last night, but we chose not to. Jacob,
Wonder why.
Step Up All In.
What? You passed?
Oh,
Yeah, we
Stars
passed
a-
on that one.
Yeah, stars a bunch of kids.
stepped out.
Stars a bunch of kids nobody really knows. It's about another dance competition, and it's set in Las Vegas. So there
Such
you
an
go.
angsty like.
Something tells
cover.
me if you've watched one of the other Step Up movies, you already know the plot of this movie.
You're probably right. And a film called What If, and this is quasi-limited release, stars Daniel Radcliffe. Adam Driver deals with a man who's done with relationships and then forms an unlikely bond with a woman who's already involved. I say somewhat limited. It's not like 400 theaters nationwide.
Right.
It's more like 1,500 theaters nationwide.
I like the preview for that. It looked good.
We'll have to see if we can find it locally. And then there's the one, the headliner, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Megan Fox, William Fichtner, and a whole bunch of other voices. Rebooted the tale of turtles growing up in New York City sewers who have a mysterious past coming to save the day from a very dark future. I take it we're the only two that have watched this so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to pass.
Jacob, you're up.
All right. Well, the best way you can describe this movie, it was better than I expected. It doesn't have a lot of Michael Bay fingerprints on it.
Right.
So, not very many explosions. So, and surprisingly, yeah. Not a terrible plot, and I mean, like, you actually get some character development. Like, you actually seem to care about the turtles, unlike the Transformers series, where you don't care anything about the title characters. It was decent. Like I said, a lot better than I expected.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 7.
7 out of 10. Wow. That's higher than what I'm going to go. But I will agree with you in the fact that it doesn't seem to have the Michael Bay fingerprints all over it. It is pretty well done. The CGI is fairly decently, put into the film. So it's fairly seamless for the most part. Nice beginning to it where you think maybe you've got a hero who turns out to be a villain. We'll let you figure that out later on. But overall, it was a film that I just kind of went, okay, it was better than I expected. I was walking in fully expecting to give this thing amongst my worst ratings of the year.
Yeah.
And so far, my lowest rating has been a 2, which I gave to Pompeii. I was thinking 2, 3, maybe 3.5. I walked out of there with a solid, decent feeling of giving it a 5. And then I stopped and I thought about it last night, and it came up this morning, and I realized my rating really needs to be this. This is a go see Guardians of the Galaxy again out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think that
that.
if you have any interest, you will be pleasantly surprised. But don't go see this just to see it.
Yeah,
you know,
this
it's-
isn't the movie of the week. Sorry,
Right.
folks. In very limited release, couple of things, couple of films. One, The Dog. Another one, About Alex. And then there's Deep Sea Challenge 3D. This is a documentary that was made by James Cameron about diving expeditions.
Oh, that sounds
fascinating.
cool.
Yes.
Well, I was
Well,
actually
you know,
being
he's
serious.
been
I was
so.
not.
I'm a diver.
Yeah, he's been on this kick pretty much ever since Titanic. So
Yeah.
as much as he can do when it comes to
Well, I liked-
diving, that's where he goes.
I like Aliens of the Deep was really interesting, right? Am I the only one here? No.
I have,
Lonely Island.
Only one.
Keep going.
Coming out in theaters next week, The Expendables 3, Let's Be Cops, and The Giver. All big releases coming out next week, and it looks like if we play our cards right, we might be able to get 2, possibly all 3 of them in by the show next week, and we'll
I'm interested in
talk
2
about
of
the
the 3.
schedule as we deal with
I
that
have
later.
vested interest in The Giver.
Okay.
Because I know some of the people on the marketing team, and I think it's going to flop. Because it was a very popular book, but the marketing is just all over the place. It seems like the fans hate the movie. Let's Be Cops needs to make money.
Which you drafted.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I hope, is the #1 movie this weekend. Because we have to compete now with Jacobs.
Notice he hasn't mentioned The Expendables 3.
I actually do want to see that because this is my opinion on that.
All right, you and I will.
It'll be ridiculous.
I'm
but
sure.
Those guys have
But
saved the world
so
so
was
many
1 and 2.
times. Those guys have saved the world so many times. We owe it to them to watch that movie.
There you go. Got to take our first break. Any interest in any of that there, Jeff?
Not really. I haven't seen any of the Expendables films. And
Me
really,
either. They're all great.
Gunplay,
expensive,
explosions, macho, testosterone. Yeah,
Male.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, cool, fantastic.
But hey, there's Step Up.
Well, yeah, there's Step Up all in.
You can watch that while we're watching
Dance Away Your
Expendables.
Problems.
I might read a book since I'm literate.
And on that note, we're taking a break.
Hope you got your popcorn, because we're back to the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
So we're sitting in the theater last night watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then the scene comes up, and this song is playing. And I'm like, that's it. There's the song coming back from the first break.
What's his name?
Where we always pick the soundtrack, or a song from the soundtrack of one of the movies out this week. Yes, Careless Whisper by Wham is on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack.
By the way, if you were looking for a hilarious YouTube video, there's a video of this dude who dresses up
videos.
Oh yeah, dresses up like the dude from the video that plays the saxophone and just plays the saxophone solo in random places.
It's
like
the
malls.
greatest thing ever.
It's
He'll get
hilarious.
arrested in a mall.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of the song. Like I think this generation only thinks that video.
Yeah, that video.
We'll just bust in the middle, and they walk around him, and they're like, "This is the most famous jazz play," and they'll push, and he'll just be in a mall food court, just like grinding on shirtless, grinding
leather
on the table.
pants.
It's so great.
I think he wears like a leather vest too.
Yeah, it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
It's great.
Just to have some fun with it. All right, first up, when we talk about movie news, we got to talk about 2016 because we got that pending Marvel versus DC movie matchup. Captain America 3, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. They were, keyword, slated to face off against each other. They were supposed to be released on the exact same weekend. But somebody, Jacob, has blinked.
Yeah, it looks like DC is moving their film up to March 25th, which makes me wonder, are they going to be getting that done quicker? Are they going to be just rushing to get it done faster? Some questions there.
And my biggest question really doesn't have anything. I think the movie will be just fine. I mean, this thing is such a white hot spotlight thrown on it that they're going to be making sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. My bigger curiosity on this is, where does that place them in the grand pantheon of things? I mean, yeah, they're going to move it to a point where they're coming out, a month and a half, 2 months before Captain America?
Yeah.
But they're the ones that moved.
Right.
Does that put Marvel really in even a better position than they were previously, because we've seen the difference between DC Comics films, for the most part, and Marvel films?
Well, let's be honest, man. Over the past couple of days, every comic book film has been mapped out until, I think, 2050.
Oh, easily.
So there's not going to be any more face-offs unless somebody moves something specifically just to cause trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this doesn't necessarily kind of hurt DC in your mind?
I don't think so. I mean, it's going to be, if it's good, it'll be a powerhouse. I mean, you got
Yeah.
Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman.
I mean, I won't say it hurts them, but I mean, you do have to think that, okay, they lost that battle.
Well, it was the smartest thing they could do.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah,
They
absolutely.
made the right move. It's just,
It
you
does.
know,
I am a little curious. I mean, as big as this film is, and I know that they're putting it out at a time when really no other big films are going to come out, but this, to me, kind of screamed summer blockbuster wannabe. Even if it's not going to be. Why would they move it forward instead of moving it back to, say, I don't know, July 4th weekend or something?
Because they want to get in before blockbuster fatigue might set in, which obviously didn't this year, since Guardians exploded all over the place. And all
well,
that.
there would have had to have been blockbusters before Guardians for that to have happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on your definition of a blockbuster.
Yeah.
I mean, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, while doing $183 million, I think that there were people that might have been expecting it to do even more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last movie, the top grossing film this year so far is Captain America 3, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's made, what, 260?
Yeah.
It is odd when you look at the numbers from last year to this.
Yeah, it's a low performing.
Last year was one of the top years ever.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's hard to compare it.
It
but,
is.
Yeah.
You mentioned it a little bit ago. DC and Marvel taking hold. DC's come out firing with some long-term plans. Jacob, you've kind of seen a little bit of that. It's going through, what, 2020?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, they haven't named any of these films, so we don't know what anything actually is, but we've got a slot for August 5th, 2016, June 23rd and November 17th of 2017, March 23rd and July 27th of 2018, April 5th and June 14th of 2019, and April 3rd and June 19th of 2020. Who knows what any of those are.
Yeah, really. But that's not counting, what is it, Fox, which has X-Men, and Sony, which has Spider-Man, and we're going to talk about that here in just a couple of seconds. And then you've got Marvel, which we talked about last week, with 2 movies next year and then 3 for the next couple of years after that or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, if you're sick of superhero films, sorry, you're in deep trouble.
Yep.
But let's continue with that. Captain America 3, and apparently some possible plot details have been talked about on that one, Jacob?
Yes. Let me find that real quick. So we know that this sequel will be set a couple of years after the Captain America Winter Soldier. It's going to also be focused a little bit on Cap's relationship with Bucky Barnes or the Winter Soldier, and probably have some political stuff involved since he's brainwashed by Hydra.
One would assume that by that point in time we'll have the whole idea of S.H.I.E.L.D. being torn apart settled.
Maybe.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it could between now and then come back in some form or another. Maybe not.
Well, and I think probably for the most part that'll be dealt with. It'll probably be mentioned in the films, but for the most part I would think it would be dealt with in the TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay. So that they're talking about dealing with Bucky Barnes, and then Guardians of the Galaxy at almost $100 million in its debut weekend. We know that there's a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that's been greenlit, and Jeff, they're talking plot details too.
Right. Kevin Feige was asked a few questions about it. Basically, the only things he was sort of willing to talk about is more than likely the next one will probably focus on the question asked at the end of the first film, who is Peter Quill's father?
Okay.
Because obviously he's half non-Earthling, so some alien or another is his dad. They also asked if Karen Gillan's Nebula will return, and he's, of course, in comic book lore, if you're not overtly dead, there's always a chance you can come back.
Sure.
Even if you are dead.
Yeah, there's that too.
And the big question, does Thanos need to be an even bigger bad between now and then? And the truth is, and I quote, anything I say on that would be a spoiler. So he's playing coy on Thanos. So.
Gotcha.
I still think Thanos is Avengers 3. That's my idea.
I think so too.
It's his prediction. Laying it out there right now.
They've been building up the different gems of the Infinity Gauntlet so much. It would be silly if I think it would be a mistake if they didn't.
Yeah, I think they have to wrap up Phase 1 with Avengers 3 dealing with that. Let's go over to DC Comics, and Jeff wondering about some of the lesser known heroes and villain lineup, talking about characters like Darkseid. What have you learned?
Darkseid is one of DC's biggest bads. He's sort of like Thanos from the Marvel Universe, sort of his equal. This is a guy who can stand toe-to-toe with Superman. He's the ruler of a planet called Apocalypse, which is spelled with a K. Imagine a planet that is all industrial and urban, but with giant craters through which the heat from the core pours out into space. He's got an army of parademons, and he's usually trying to conquer or overthrow somebody and just basically gain more and more power.
So he will be a subject material, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, has to be.
He's one of the heaviest hitters as far as bad guys go.
So that's going to come up, and I guess it's just a matter of trying to figure out where all the lesser-known heroes and some of the other villains start to fit into this.
And he is a great-looking character, too. His face is like a chiseled out of rock. Pretty
Looking
cool.
forward to it. One more note on superheroes. Sony, we mentioned the Spider-Man set. Apparently, they're looking to dig a little bit deeper into that world. How far, Jacob?
Well, we've already got the Sinister Six movie and the Venom movie, which has now been renamed to Venom Carnage, at least from what we believe it's been renamed. But now they're saying they want to, at some point, create a female-led movie from the Spider-Man universe. I haven't said which female character would be, the main character, but you're looking at the possibilities could be Silver Sable, Black Cat, who's already actually technically introduced in Spider-Man 2, Stunner, Firestarter, Spider-Woman, just to name a few.
All right.
Poor
Over there
Sally.
making comments. What are you doing?
I just was wondering if it was going to be if Spider-Man was going to decide to be a woman. That's what I was surgically speaking, because he kind of already is one.
Spider-Tran. Spider-Can.
What have I started? What have I started? I couldn't help it when they said a female led one. I'm like, well, he kind of is already a pansy, so
Patricia
we might as
Parker.
well just go all the way with it.
All right, from there, let's move over to action. Jason Statham cut his teeth. He came to some fame in the role of a series of Transporters films. Word has it, Jacob, they're going to reboot the franchise?
Yeah, Luke Besson is pretty much taking this on himself.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
That's Luc Besson.
Oh, excuse
me. Get it right.
Excuse me. So he is wanting to reboot the franchise and call it Transporter Legacy.
Re-kick the Transporter.
With or without
Legacy.
Statham?
As far as I know, without.
What?
But I mean,
How
I
could you do
haven't.
that?
He's still alive.
Other people can get things from point A to point B.
No.
I mean, but who knows? I mean, that's not
UPS
saying
guy.
they haven't said they're not going to do it with
okay.
him. They're
I
just
gotcha.
haven't said that they have.
All right. Well, then there's action, and as it turns out, Jason Statham is going to be in next week's Expendables 3. We talked about that last segment. Word has that the idea of an Expendables isn't quite dead yet. What?
No, Sylvester Stallone actually wants to make a female version of the Expendables.
Okay, this has been talked about for a while, and we've thought about. I mean, we saw, or we've talked about Katie Sackhoff as a possibility there. I don't know whether she's in on that or not.
Expendababes.
So
Well,
where are we going to go?
Nobody is actually in on this. I mean, this is not really even greenlit yet. But Sylvester Stallone really wants Sigourney Weaver for a main character. They've also have been floating around Zoe Bell, Cameron Diaz, Mila Jovovich, and for some reason Meryl Streep.
Zoe Bell's
Meryl
in one.
Streep?
What, the Mercenaries? Isn't Zoe Bell? And it's sort of
I
like
think
a
so.
female
Something
Expendables.
like that, yeah.
I just don't think this will work. I feel like it's a good idea in idea form, but there's not enough female action stars like that.
I would rather them do like Expendables 4, where they just add in more female characters.
I mean, there already is one.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Gina Rousey.
Like, just do more female characters in your Expendables movies, and then we don't have to make one.
Because guys watch these movies.
Sure.
So I'm not sure they're going to buy an all-female. Megan Fox could be in it.
Yeah.
No.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano, yeah. She
Zoe
could.
Saldana.
The trans Spider-Man.
Now,
could be in
if
it.
Zoe
There you go.
Saldana, that'd be a good. That'd be a good
Zoe
actor.
Saldana would be an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't know. It maybe a lot of it really has to do with who all they get. Liam Neeson, Jeff, apparently going to be back next year with what they're terming an action filler. It's a action thriller. Excuse me.
Filler too, probably.
Yes, probably. It's called Run All Night. What do you know about it?
It's directed by Jean Colessera.
Right.
Yeah.
Luc Besson.
From a Brad Inglesby script. It's set for release on April the 17th, and apparently Neeson stars as a graying hitman who is forced to take on his brutal ex-boss to protect his estranged, it's his son this time, and his family.
Always trying to
Taken
protect his
3.
family.
This time it's his son.
Right. Genesis Rodriguez, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ed Harris, cool, Sean McGuire, Common, Boyd Holbrook, and somebody named Holt McCallany. Yeah, something like that. They're in it too.
They're all in there.
Yeah, all those.
When
guys.
is this supposed to hit?
April 17th, so.
Early in the year.
Yes, sir.
I was hoping you were going to see Liam Neeson was in the new Transporter films. He was the Transporter.
Well, I would see that.
The tranny sporter.
Yeah, really.
Well, because his competitor is the new trans Spider-Man.
Good grief.
This has gone too far.
Fifth film in the Terminator franchise. We're getting more details about this, like what it's officially going to be called, Jacob.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger officially tweeted out the official title of this movie, and it's going to be called Terminator Genesis.
With a weird spelling.
Right. It's spelled Genisys.
Oh, like system.
Like
Yes.
system.
Because
Right.
they're robots.
Right.
Man, that
Just
is
like-
clever.
Clever. Yo, boy.
Whoa.
Like Terminator in the retirement home.
Do we know when this thing's supposed to hit?
Oh, I just had the thing pulled up.
Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger going to be in it, actually?
I think he does have a role.
I'm game then. It's for nostalgic sake.
And apparently they actually come up with a reason that the Terminator actually ages. From what
It's
I heard.
July 1st.
Well, they need to because, wow, he's aged.
Yes. July 1st, 2015.
Is he working out again?
July 1st next year. Okay. I think he's never really stopped
Yeah,
taking
I guess that's
steroids. Speaking of rebooting a franchise, the horror film's Leprechaun. Apparently, they've got a release date set for another Leprechaun film.
Yeah, well, so originally this was supposed to be just a direct-to-home thing by Lionsgate and WWE. But no, they've also decided because it got a lot of fan love at Comic-Con, they're going to do a limited release in theaters on August 22nd. Of this year, I think.
Really?
I believe so.
Was there a first?
I didn't realize it was already
film?
done.
Yeah, it looks like it was done.
Was there a first one?
There was, yeah, and it was actually featured a pre-Friends Jennifer Aniston.
No way.
Yeah.
Dang.
By the way, Jennifer Aniston not reprising her role. Sorry.
And this is a prequel. It's Leprechaun's Origins. If
I'm actually kind of excited
Origins
by that.
with
Really?
a Y.
It sounds awesome.
This sounds absolutely horrible.
It sounds so terrible. It could be interesting.
Right. I doubt you'll find a pot
I
of
mean,
gold.
it almost has that Sharknado feel. Like it,
Yeah.
it could.
Well, yeah,
it
there's
could
that.
be just bad enough.
It's one of those things that's just
well,
so
because
terrible
the
you want
first
to see
one
it.
was. The first one was so over-the-top cheesy, it actually was somewhat enjoyable.
That's where the future of movies are going.
I guess. Jeff?
Yes.
I didn't think this was a great film, but I watched it because you talked about it. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer.
I love that movie.
Give me some background on this, because apparently this is based upon a series of books by one particular author who tends to take either somebody in history or a classic book and kind of turn it on its end.
Well, Seth Grahame-Smith, he wrote Abraham Lincoln, but his first novel was actually the first one. I think he's only written the one.
Okay.
A lot of people came around and copycatted him, but he wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Which
And that's going to be made into a film.
apparently it
That'd be
is.
great.
According to the deadline, it's going to start filming this September. David O. Russell wrote the script.
Oh.
Oh my gosh!
With,
Seriously?
With
that could be good.
someone named Burr Steers, who will also be directing it.
Okay.
It's going to star Sam Riley, Bella Heathcote, and Lily James. And I got the book, started reading it, but guess what? It's Pride and Prejudice with zombies. So.
Right. It is literally.
Is that
Pride-
it?
I mean, it is Pride
There's
and
a little,
Prejudice.
martial arts that they know because they're zombie killers, but it's Pride and Prejudice with.
It's the same
Zombies.
book.
Wait,
They've
who
just
is the
added
targeted
zombies.
demographic here? Because I don't think girls are going to watch it.
Zombies.
I don't know. It's a bad idea. I think.
It's about time we address
maybe
zombie
not.
Abraham
prejudice.
Lincoln Vampire Slayer was kind of fun, though.
The
Yeah,
book
it was
so much better.
I kind of
than the
enjoyed it.
movie.
Who would read a book called Abraham Lincoln Vampire
This
Slayer?
guy.
Okay.
Hey, he was the one that told me about it, said, watch the film. See
I'm
what it's
surprised
like.
you didn't just ask who would read a book.
I actually like books. I read books all the time.
They got pictures.
comic books.
They hold my paper down.
Thriller by the name of Criminal set to come out here pretty soon, Jeff. What do you know about this particular film?
Apparently, Ryan Reynolds has just joined Kevin Costner in that film. And also, they just announced, I think yesterday, the day before, Alice Eve is also joining the cast.
So this is becoming quite the all-star
right, it's
cast
got
here,
Kevin
too.
Costner, like I said, Ryan Reynolds, Alice Eve, Costner, Gary Oldman, Tommy Lee Jones, coming from Millennium Films. Apparently, Ariel Roman, who wrote and directed The Iceman, which I haven't seen, is directing it from a script by Douglas Cook and David Weisberg. It centers on a dead CIA operative's memories, secrets, and skills that are implanted into a prisoner to help him stop a diabolical plot.
Ooh, it's a plot.
I wasn't in until you said Alice Eve.
When are they planning on trying to put this thing into theaters?
I have not seen any dates on that, so
Okay,
even if I did, I didn't put it down, so you don't know.
We
You're not
don't
gonna find
know.
out.
No.
Google it.
Speaking of an all-star cast, Jacob, a film entitled The Last Witch. They got quite a cast. Who?
Well, it's actually The Last Witch Hunter.
Hunter, excuse me, sorry.
Well, we've already know about Vin Diesel and Michael Caine. We've already talked about that on the show.
You want to talk about an odd pairing.
Right,
That
yeah,
is an
that's
odd
weird. But they've now added Elijah Wood, Lord of the Rings star, to this.
Okay.
We don't know what he's going to be playing, but the movie is basically going to track an immortal witch hunter who teams up with a witch to save New York City from a coven conjured plague. So, yeah, that's what that's about.
Okay, we got to take a second break here. We still got a lot to get to. We may not get to it all, but we'll give it a shot, and we will start by transitioning from an actress who appeared in Maleficent, who is going on to portray an author of a very famous book. We'll talk about it next.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago.
Hey, welcome back in. Listening to the Entertainment Roundtable here, Superstation 101 WIDE, coming back to the Bare Naked Ladies and their version of the, well, they did it in the first place, the theme song to the show, The Big Bang Theory.
Their version. They covered their...
They covered their own.
They covered
Clever.
their own.
We'd like to cover our own song. Thank you very much. No, that's their song. And we'll be talking about The Big Bang Theory here in just a little bit. Right now, continuing talking about movies here, we were talking about a girl who was in Maleficent who is going on to portray an author of a very famous book. We're talking about Elle Fanning. Tell me a little bit more about this film.
Yeah, she's going to be playing Mary Shelley, and the author of Frankenstein, for those who don't know, in the movie called A Storm in the Stars. It'll actually be set when she was a 17-year-old girl, and at the time named Mary Wollstonecraft.
Mm-hmm.
But it will chronicle. The movie is going to chronicle her affair with Percy Shelley, the poet. It's so it's like.
I wonder if we'll get an idea of where she got the inspiration for Frankenstein.
The romance prelude to Frankenstein. That's kind of an odd thing, but okay.
It is. All right. Speaking of biographical type pictures, we're going to come back to the Black Panther story here in just a second. I want to go to Jeff on this one because mostly the biographical pictures seem to have been concentrating on singers. Witness Get On Up, which is out in film theaters right now. But plans about a famed mind in a film called The Theory of Everything, Jeff?
Yes, this will be directed by James Marsh, and it is a working title production. Starts November the 7th, and it tells the compelling story of Stephen Hawking, the world-famous astrophysicist. But at its heart, and with its heart, it is also about the extraordinary love story with his wife, Jane.
I saw the trailer for it earlier today, and it actually looks not bad.
Stephen Hawking dump his first wife for his nurse?
Not according to what...
No,
well,
I think he
I don't know
definitely
if
did.
they're going to deal with that in this film, though.
Okay, so because he was actually having an affair, I don't know how, with his...
Very carefully.
His nurse while he was married, and I'm like, wow, jerks will be jerks. Even when you're completely paralyzed, you're cheating on your wife. Like, it's more. That means it's more of like a inner problem.
Yes. Okay, so this coming out later this year?
November the 7th, and Eddie Redmayne stars as Hawking, while Felicity Jones plays Jane. So it's based on Jane Hawking's book. Was written by Anthony McCartan and produced by Tim Bevan, Eric Fellner, blah, 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 producers. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay. November 7th. Interesting. If you're looking for something more on the comedy side, Jacob, we might have what you need. Kevin Hart and Samuel L. Jackson in a comedy.
Yeah, it's going to be called The Black Phantom. Samuel L. Jackson is actually taking Jamie Foxx's spot, who had to leave over scheduling conflicts. Basically, it's an inappropriate comedy about an odd partnership formed between a clever double-crossed mob hitman played by Kevin Hart and the notorious hitman, the Black Phantom, who has been hired to kill him, who will be played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. Speaking of comedies, and we often see movies made into TV shows. Matter of fact, we'll talk about one if we got the time a little bit later on in this show. But it seems like lately the reverse has also been happening, and Jacob, word is now coming about a movie version of the just recently going off the air NBC hit The Office.
Well, this is actually more of a spinoff of the BBC, the British version of The Office.
So that would explain why we're going to get Ricky Gervais.
Right, who Ricky Gervais starred in. He played a character named David Brent. He played the Michael Scott version, Steve Carell parallel, basically. The British version of Steve Carell in this movie. He was the boss of the Office. And at the end of the show, it's only one season long. At the end of the show, he decides to try his hand at becoming a music executive, and the movie will kind of chronicle his life at trying to become popular in the music world.
I'm just looking forward to this.
Yeah,
that actually looks pretty good.
Interesting.
I mean, any fans of the American Office, let me just tell you.
The British
version,
fantastic.
It takes that level of discomfort for humor. I mean, just
off the
11.
charts.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, live action. Well, the animated to live action version of Disney's The Jungle Book, and we talked about this. Some of the voices that are coming out. You got the already announced Christopher Walken, but more voices have been announced. Jacob.
Yeah, well, the newest that we've heard is Bill Murray. He will be playing the part of Baloo, the bear. Wow. But he's going to be joining Ben Kingsley, Lupita Nyong'o. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
It's actually pretty close.
They're going to be playing Bagheera and Raksha. Golden Globe winner Idris Elba is going to be Shere Khan. Scarlett Johansson is Ka. So pretty,
They got
pretty
names.
big cast.
Yeah, very much.
Disney has money.
No kidding.
Really?
Is that animated?
Based a lot on
no,
Marvel.
I believe it's live action.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a combination.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get live action, maybe not animated, but you're going to have
But they're
to
not in
obviously
costumes.
Right. You're
Right.
probably going to get the actual animals, but they're just
Yeah, those are all
manipulating
voice
the
actors. Yeah.
The animated hit, the Lego Movie, earlier this year came out. Really enjoyed it. I did anyway. I found out
Loved
recently, Jacob, there's going to be a second, and then apparently there's more after that.
Right. Well, we already knew about Ninjago that they were going to do in 2016 and the Lego Movie 2 in 2017. But now they've also put in 2 Lego properties in May 25th of 2018 and May 24th of 2019. So 2 more. We don't know what they're going to be about, or if it's maybe a Ninjago 2.
So at least 2 more.
But it could be a completely different set of Lego Batman. Who knows?
Okay. Kids all over going to get really happy here because we've got SpongeBob SquarePants is about to hit theaters, and we've also got apparently plans for a Clifford the Big Red Dog film.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both happening.
All right. So kids,
Is Chloe
be
gonna
ready,
be in
and parents, be prepared. Your
know who
kids are
Chloe
going to
is.
want to go and check out these movies. Out on Blu-ray or DVD next Thursday, several films, which include the animated Batman Assault on Arkham Bears. This is the Disney version.
Looks
where
great.
they kind of do the documentary of following a bear family.
awesome.
The animated Disney version of Hercules, which is going to be combined with a couple of other offerings that make their way out in Blu-ray for the first time. Hercules will be paired with Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. And the animated Tarzan will be paired with something else, and I can't remember it right offhand. Also out, The Muppets Most Wanted and The Railway Man. If you are a TV series collector, there's Season 1 of The Blacklist and Season 1 of Bitten as well. Let's go to TV news. Jacob started NBC. They've got a sitcom, which is something they're really having a whole lot of luck with over the past decade, but they've got one called Undateable. Do they like it?
Yeah, they do. It kind of premiered this summer. They are bringing it back for a second season. They're doing another 10 episodes of it, which was down 3 from season 1.
Right.
So it's coming back. It'll probably be another summer. They'll probably bring it back in the summer again.
Starting to see the networks doing a little bit more summer TV releases here. Under the Dome is one of them, and several others that are out
Right.
there. So, yeah, maybe something new. Staying with the network, and one of our absent guys, Ryan, one of his favorite shows is Parenthood, but you've seen Plans. Apparently, they've got a love triangle in the plans, maybe?
Yeah, so Parenthood, which is on its final season this coming season, is bringing Breaking Bad alum Betsy Brandt to reprise her role as Hank's ex-wife, Sandy. So
Strike
she's
on
coming
the
back,
household, huh?
and which she's got a lot of guest star. Betsy Brandt has a lot of guest stars this coming season, so should be interesting for her.
There you go. Over to CBS, and here we go again with CSI spinoffs, and the latest one is being entitled CSI Cyber. A couple of people have been added to the cast here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the lesser name, which is Peter McNichol. Is on. He will play Assistant Director Stavros Stifter, a career FBI insider inside of the division.
Peter McNichol from Numbers, and before that, probably best known for Ally McBeal.
Okay.
Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer. Well, yeah. If you go back to up into the films, yeah.
But we do know now who the male lead to Patricia Arquette will be.
This is going to be interesting. I saw this already.
They have cast James Vanderbeek as let's see, what's the name? The character's name, Elijah Mundo, who is an expert in battlefield forensics.
Why do they come up with these names?
Elijah, what was the first one? Stifler or Stagnastic?
Yeah, I know.
Someone's parents hated them.
Stifler's mom.
And so
Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom, yes.
I would be on board for that.
Basically, James Vanderbeek is going to be the action. He wants to run in and do things, and he's going to be reined in by Patricia Arquette's more psychological.
We'll fight someone.
Psychological.
I want to tear that computer out of the
stuff.
wall.
So there you go.
All right, here we go. Then we get to CBS, the hit show The Big Bang Theory. We've talked about it here in the past. Cast members haven't shown up on the set because they're seeking bigger contracts. And last week we said talks had kind of broken down. Apparently they were really far apart. Is there an update there?
Yeah. So in the story I have only has the big 3 stars: Jim Parsons, Johnny Galecki, and Kaylee Cuoco. But I have read that all 5 of the original stars have reached deals, and they haven't released the actual numbers, but they are saying the late Friends episode deals.
Yeah,
that's kind of that range.
Oh.
So all of them are in. They should be resuming or starting.
Well, let's face it, CBS
filming soon.
CBS really put the stars of this in the driver's seat when they announced, as we are going into season 8, they said we're renewing this for 3 more years.
Right.
And when they did that, it was like the stars were like, "Oh yeah, 3 more years.
3 years.
You're paying."
Right.
So consider probably, if I remember correctly, the numbers for the last season of Friends, each of the 6 stars of that show got somewhere in the neighborhood of $75 to $100 million for that season.
Oh yeah, and they said that it is near that territory for these each person.
Recently been talking a lot of late night talk show host movement. Most of the replacements have been named, except for the fact that the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, he's leaving in December, and we didn't know who was going to be replacing him until now, or is this confirmed?
I don't think this is officially confirmed. This is supposedly the rumor of who CBS wants. They actually want to go back to Great Britain again, and they're looking at James Corden, as, for those who don't know, he was the co-creator and writer and star of a huge BBC comedy called Gavin and Stacey. He was probably one of the in the most recent years, one of the very beloved guest star on Doctor Who, and he's done lots of other comedy stuff. So
I love Craig Ferguson on there.
I like Craig Ferguson. I'm going to miss him when he's gone.
So I think he would be a good replacement if you're going to go, replace him with another Brit.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Not technically Brit, but,
UK.
Right.
CW has the hit show Arrow getting more and more cast members. Jeff, they actually reached back to NYPD Blue from ABC several years ago.
Yeah, Charlotte Ross, who was on NYPD Blue, also in Nashville, Days of Our Lives, and Glee, is slated to appear in at least one episode in early November as Felicity Smoke's mother. Now, that's about it. They're not giving any details about whether it's going to be in present day, flashbacks, anything like that. But apparently they're going to have a few episodes this season that focus on Felicity.
Okay. Going to go with you on a couple of these, Jeff, in a row. Nickelodeon apparently got a deal with Paramount Television. They're going to take a movie, make it into a TV series like we were talking about, and this one a Jack Black film.
Yeah, the film where he played the wannabe rock star who basically lied and said he was a substitute teacher at a school. Yeah, School of Rock is the name of the film, and it's going to be the name of the 13-episode television series. Apparently no Jack Black involvement at this time.
Ah, boo.
See, that's the bad part. Hopefully they can get him at least to come in and do a cameo.
I didn't mind the movie so much, but no.
The movie's awesome.
I mean, it was a good movie, but I can't see that as a TV show. That seems stupid.
We'll find out. Jeff, BBC, just talked about them just a second ago, came out with a television pilot based upon a Douglas Adams book, actually 2 books. We're not talking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've got some questions that come to mind, so let's start off. Details about a character by the name of Dirk Gently coming to TV?
Yeah, it looks like IDW is partnering with Max Landis, the writer-director of Chronicle, to bring Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency to the small screen.
Detective Agency.
Yes.
This is typical Brit, man.
Yeah.
My favorite name of all time.
Here's the thing. If you are into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I find actually a very funny book, I got to go back and find these books.
Basically, he's
same kind of humor?
Yeah, he's a detective who investigates cases involving the supernatural, and Landis is very excited because he says pretty much anything he can think of with reason, within reason, UFOs, Bigfoot, what have you, extra-dimensional aliens. He can write about it.
Okay, this is BBC. Is this going to be shown on BBC America? So we're going to get this, I hope?
I would be shocked if we don't.
I'd be surprised, but
I don't have any details about where it's going to be. I would assume that it will be BBC America. If Landis is involved, sure. Why not?
All right. Nat Geo, Jacob, a network we really have never talked about on the show. But they've done TV movies based upon the Fox News host Bill O'Reilly's books, Killing Lincoln, Killing Kennedy. He wrote a third in that series called Killing Jesus. They set to make a movie out of that?
Yeah, they're going to do a 3-hour television event. They've tapped Christopher Manal to helm the upcoming thing. It's going to be produced by Bill O'Reilly and Ridley Scott.
Okay.
I've heard about that story.
We got some stuff that we're going to hold over till next week because we got to talk about this. $94.3 million opening weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy, which brings us to the latest standings when it comes to this, and I haven't seen it because Jacob's been keeping it awful private. So
Yeah, sorry, my computer is packed up right now. And I couldn't actually send it.
Whatever. All right, so you have the latest rundown here. What are the new standings here as Jacob starts to climb the charts?
All right, am I going in order of...
Go in whatever order you would like, sir.
All right, well, we'll just go down the list. We've got David. This is alphabetically. David is in at $330 million.
Hey, he broke 330.
And is in fifth place. Me, I'm at $608 million and in third place. Jeff in first is at $810 million. Josh in fourth at $512 million. Ryan in last place at $326 million, and Steve in second at $630 million.
Yeah, I'm going to be, this time next week, in third place. Jacob going to be in second. I can tell you that right now.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, people. Go see it. Support your local cause.
That's the one that you're looking
Josh
for.
Walsh winning whatever
David's
the prize
got
is.
Expendables 3 that he has yet to get out there. Otherwise, I think just about all
That's
the other
everything.
films
Let's
have
Be
been
Cops.
released.
No, Let's Be
He's
Cops.
got
Let's Be Cops. That's
Let's Be
true.
Cops.
So we
Okay.
got two more. It's coming down to it, but that guy in there.
Let's Be Cops could be the Guardians of the Galaxy of that kind of movie.
$810 million.
I really doubt it.
It's not.
Whoa, $810 million. That's going to be a
Surprise us
tough
all.
one to overcome, Jeff.
I know.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Had a
fun.
very good time.
Pleasure.
Had a whole lot of fun. We'll do it all again next week. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and thank you for listening to Superstation 101.